Okay, so we're starting our geometry and trigonometry module. So it'll be the second module that you do in your exam. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is recap on our angle definitions. You will not get a question where they ask you to describe what a complementary angle is. You're not going to get that, but you need to remember. So complementary angles add up to 90. So you need to remember that if you see this right angle there, that they're going to add up to 90. So if you knew what B was, so say for example, I said, B was 30 degrees, you know that A is 60, exactly. So it's a fact that you've got to know, and it's assumed you know. So that's why we're going over it. So over here, if you look at the alternate angles, what that means is you will have to be shown that it's parallel lines. So can you see that we've got these two parallel lines? Yeah? And then we say if we put a line through those parallel lines, what we're saying is that these angles would equal the same. So if you've got that zigzag, if you said this was 20 degrees, so you got that line down there, you're going to say that that is 20 degrees. Okay? So that's another thing you need to do. Now, say, look, if we look down here at co-interior, if I said that's 20, we know co-interior, so it's only when you've got these parallel lines. So they have to tell you or show you with those little arrows there that it's parallel for you to be able to say that. So you know, say for example, if that dot was 20, you know that this one must be 160 because we're saying these two should add up to 180. Okay? Now, and the other thing to look for is that you should know that a straight line, is 180. So if you're given up there. So if you look up here, if I said that one was 20, there's a straight line there. So what would this one over here be? 160. Good. So sometimes you'll look and see different things. And sometimes you might work out the angle seeing it a different way because there's sometimes multiple ways of finding out what the angle is, and that's okay. So if we look at the next bit, often you should remember that if you've got a full circle, it should be 360, okay? So for example, you might get told that this is 20 and this is like 150, so you'd go, oh yeah, so that's, no, it would be more. I'm just looking at it. So say that's 50, so you know that's 200, therefore you know this is 160. So you'll get things like that. So just remember that if you're looking around. Now the other one that we need to look at is corresponding angles are equal. So once again, can you see you've got your parallel lines? Yes? So make sure you can see that. Now, when you have a line intersecting like that, what we're saying is that this angle will be the same. It's like in the pattern. Can you see that? So see how that's the same spot as that? So they would be equal as well. So that's what you're looking at. Now, if you have two vertically opposite, so down here we can see these are opposite, they will be equal as well if you've got two straight lines cutting like that. So if we've got the two straight lines cutting like that, the opposite angles will be the same. So they will, whatever they are. So say for example that was 20, that'll be 20, and so on. These are written out here. Once again, they're not going to ask you to define it, but maybe they might give you a clue and say the angle, find the obtuse angle. So therefore you know it has to be greater than 90, less than 180. Yeah, they're little facts that we're going to help you problem solve. You're not going to be asked to define it. So we have to practice and know that we know all these. So for example, here, let's do this example. Because I know that this, can you see you got your two parallel lines? Then you've got that intersecting line. So that means these are alternate angles, aren't they? They're on the zigzag. And we said before that alternate angles are equal. So I know that 2x minus 50 is also equal to x plus 10. And so how would I solve that? Just normal. if you really wanted to, if you're not good at it, you can pop solve in your calculator, but that one's not that hard to do. So we can just move the x's onto one side, so x minus x, because that was a plus here, and then I'll move the numbers onto the other side. So I've got positive 50 plus 10, so I've really got x equals 60 degrees. All right, so you might work out that. So you know this is 60. So if I asked you maybe what's that? If this one in here is 60, what would this one be? 120. Yeah, good. You're saying 120 because that's a straight line. Yeah? Maybe? Or someone might have also said co-interior. Can you see how someone might have looked at it as sort of co-interior? But it's the same answer, isn't it? Yeah? I often see a straight line. To me, that's just what my mind seems to look for. But that's what I'm saying. There's opposite answers could be. So if we look at last example, we can work it out. Now, so we've got our two parallel lines again. So in this unit, see how I'm highlighting these parallel lines? You should be using your pencil. This is a unit you should use pencil a lot because you might have to faintly draw these things. So you might be extending it so that you can see those parallel lines. So just make sure you're doing that. So we got a line intersecting. So I know that these are alternate. I'm going to find that out first. So alternate we said was equal. So I've got 2x plus 80 equals x plus 100. So you know if they're on that zigzag. See what I mean? Zigzag, it's like that, whatever. So if I bring the x's on one side, I've got that x equals 20. All right, so if x is 20, what does this end up equaling? 120, is that right? So even over down here, this is 2x, so that'd be 40 plus 80, which is good, which is 120. So if that one's 120 here, don't we have a straight line there? Yeah? So wouldn't I say, what does it have to add? This has to be? 180. Yeah, so it's got to be 180. So this whole angle has to be, if that's 120, 60. So therefore, what would y have to be?
Negative 100?
No, 0. Yeah? Because we want 60, yeah? So y plus 60 needs to equal 60, so 0 plus 60, yeah? So there's the answer to that.